everybody, I'm Amy.
Hi, and I'm Audrea with a
And
short attention span.
this is the right crowd. So grab a cup of coffee.
Or a cup of tea.
Maybe something on the rocks, which Audrey, is that actually tea in your cup?
This time it is.
Okay. And let's get started. All right, so this week we are going to be talking about NaNo, the aftermath, meaning what do you do when NaNo's over, right? Because there's a big emphasis on November for NaNoWriMo. Before we get started with that, Audrey, do you want to remind everybody what NaNo is?
So NaNoWriMo is National Novel Writing Month. It happens every year, once a year in November. 30 days, you have 30 days to win, and that you don't win any prizes or anything. You win the good feelings of getting it done. And that's to write 50, the goal is to write 50,000 words in 1 month of a novel. They've expanded it a little bit, so people are writing 50,000 words of nonfiction or 50,000 words of a screenplay. But that was the origin, that it's 50,000 words of a novel, and it happens in November, and it's international, and it happens online, and it's very cool. There's no cost to enter. But I love NaNoWriMo. I love I call it the NaNoWriMo season, because every year in November, writers around the world are all focused on one goal, and that's to get writing done in the cracks and crevices of their lives, or spending, like focused time writing. So your tribe is awake, alert, and everybody's moving in the same direction in November.
And it kind of starts in October because of Preptober.
Yes.
Which I don't know, when did Preptober start? Because I only remember the last couple of years. Was it around before that?
No, I don't think so. I think it came up, popped up in the last couple of years, and it got coined, and it became formal because people were doing it, getting ready for NaNoWriMo, and then I don't know who it was said it's October, it's prep for NaNoWriMo, so it's Preptober. So it's become more formal now. People are offering Preptober packages for NaNoWriMo with books and templates and webinars and things like that, so people can get ready for NaNoWriMo. But it's not a necessary part, but it is a fun part. I like Preptober too, preparing for what we're going to do in November.
I'm really good at the prepping part. Like, I could show you my calendar. Actually, my calendar for October, November, December, it's like, I got it. I got everything planned. It's all good. Ask me how many words I wrote in November.
How many words did you write in November, Amy?
214.
That's just a little bit less than 50,000.
Just a little bit. And
that much.
Just, my foot was, I dipped my toe in the pond.
Yes. Yeah. And life happens.
Yeah, exactly. We've talked about it before on here, where I'm in the process of remodeling the house I'm living in, mm-hmm. and building another house. Plus I have real estate, and I have voiceover. So it's like, there's so many things that there's a lot of that aren't normally in the bucket, right? There's a lot of handles in there. So yeah, I'm great at prepping and time blocking and putting everything in order and helping other people do it. Like, yeah, I can tell you what to do and how to get it done. I'm not so good sometimes in the implementation when there's other people involved. So I can make it work for me, but my husband and I are doing this together. So his schedule is not my schedule, and his idea of something is not my idea of something. So it's, even though I can say I'm going to do XYZ, he can come in with element OP and there is no XYZ anymore.
And because and it gets washed out. But that's an important part of planning and project management for any project. You oftentimes have dependencies that are external. So things that don't depend on you. Like if my writing time was only my time and I could control it, which I'm in a little bit different bucket from you because I have a full-time job. And so I can only write around that full-time job. And
Right.
occasionally I'll take a day off here and there during NaNo. This year I didn't because I was not planning on winning NaNo. I was planning on participating, but I was not planning on winning. And ask me if I won NaNo, Amy.
Did you win NaNo, Audrea?
No, I did not.
No? Did you participate?
I did participate and I got 60, let's see, I was just looking it up, 6,600 words in, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's an important thing for writers, especially if you're new to NaNoWriMo. A lot of time, if your life doesn't permit you as much free writing time as it would take to get 50,000 words of a novel, a draft done, then it's important to just give yourself that grace to say, what can I get done? What's possible? This is a great time. There's this like universal or international vibe of writing. What could you get done? And you know what? When you look back at NaNoWriMo, how much did you get done? And is it, it's more than you would have done if you had done nothing. So that's a good way to look at it. So you've got that 200 plus words in for November, and that's good. But you know what? You also traveled in November and did other writing stuff, like going to two writing conferences. Not one, two. And
which was half the month.
Yeah.
Which was half the month. Like I literally left on the 1st and I got back on the 15th.
Yeah. Everybody should realize she lives in Florida and she went to conferences in Utah and Las Vegas, and she drove from. So not that surprising that you did not win NaNoWriMo. So,
and I knew going into it that I wouldn't.
Yeah. So yay for getting those 200 words done.
Yeah. Okay. So I think what I would like to really talk about in this week is how do you go on from here, and how can you make NaNoWriMo more of a monthly, yearly, daily thing? Because if you break it down, it's just over 1,600 words a day.
Yes.
Which for most people would be doable. Or even half of that would be doable. So even if you're doing, say you do 500 words a day, I mean, you're still getting pretty dang close to making it, because depending on the size of your book, your novella, your whatever it is, unless you're doing like a sci-fi saga, like a multiverse kind of book, like 500 words a day is nothing to, be ashamed of. Like that's really good.
No, that's very good. Actually, any words a day is very good. Neil Gaiman wrote, I was just reading something from him. He wrote Coraline because he was working at the time. He wrote that 50 words a night after work and after the kids had been put to bed. And a lot of authors have written very very popular books on 200 words a day because they have other gigs going on.
Yeah. So how can we make writing more consistent instead of focusing on November? How could you, so like if you were to concentrate on 500 words a day, we're just going to say, because easy math. So we'll say 500 words a day. And then maybe when you got closer to November, you made your word count go a little higher. So when you got to November, 1,700 words, 2,000 words a day, you've made it part of your normal schedule. So how would we go about doing that, making it, part of your lifestyle?
Well, I think it starts with building a habit, because before I did my first NaNoWriMo, I've won, I think I've fully participated 5 times. I don't count this as fully participating because I was not planning on, because I had one writing conference and I have a huge project at work. And anyway, I have won at least twice of all the times that I participated. But the first time I did NaNoWriMo, going into it, I did not have a regular writing schedule. So I think having a habit of writing daily or every other day or whatever it's going to be for you, I think is important to build the muscle.
Right. Right. And then for some people, that's going to look like 50 words a day after the kids go to bed, or 10 minutes on the train to work in the morning and 10 minutes on the train coming home. It might look like a single dad going to the park with his kids and sitting with a group of parents that are all watching each other's kids, and they keep an eye on his kids while he writes a little bit. You know what I mean? So everybody's situation is going to be different. Like for me, I don't have a full-time job where I have to report somewhere every day. However, rehabbing a house is a full-time job, and we have a helper that's helping us. And there's a couple of things that we are subbing out, like the exterior paint, but Randy and I are doing all the work. So it's not like we have someone come in and someone else is doing something while we're in the living room drinking coffee, eating bonbons. Like we're actually doing the work. So I'm not going anywhere, but I still have other things going on. You have a full-time job outside of your house. So and even though we both will be working full-time, my full-time hours are going to be different from your full-time hours.
Right. Yeah.
Because I know we're probably not going to start until 10, but we're also going to work past 5. So if I want to get writing in every day, make sure I get writing in every day, it has to be in the morning before we get started, because I don't know what the end of the day is going to look like. And there's some days I don't even know what we're going to be working on to know if I'm going to have the capacity at the end of the day to put any words on paper, right? So what does your normal writing schedule look like outside of NaNo?
So I have 2 days a week that I have morning writing sessions because I go to the gym or do workouts the other 3 days a week. So that's Monday through Friday. And then I write after work. Actually I do. I come home and then I start writing after work to get some words in before from like 5:30 or 6 to about 6:30. So it's only about an hour to hour and a half window. So 5 to 6:30 or 5:30 to 6:30 is about when I can squeeze writing in. And that's, like you said, non-NaNoWriMo times. And I've been working on fitting in some writing during lunch as well. But I don't take lunch. But so it would have to be, I would have to build the muscle back again of taking a lunch every day. But I've gotten it up to maybe once a week. I'll take some writing time for lunch during the day and go off to my car or something like that.
Right. I remember those days. You don't get paid for lunch, but you also don't take lunch.
Yeah.
I remember those.
Right.
So with Christmas coming up and New Year's, how do you work in writing around getting all the Christmas things done and all the baking and the family and all of that? Do you keep your same writing schedule or does it adjust accordingly?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I forgot to mention on the weekends, I do write at least there's even not during NaNo, it's all day during the weekends. And I tell my husband, it's NaNo time. And he's like, I know it's November. I won't see you on the weekends. Maybe we can have lunch one day. And I'm like, I cannot make promises. But during regular non-NaNo time, I just write about 2 to 4 hours. 2 to 4 hours, because I still get up pretty early on Saturdays and Sundays and can get in some time in between social time with my husband and working on the house and things like that. But around the holidays, it gets tougher, of course, because there is all that extra stuff that you don't normally do, present wrapping and house decorating and stuff like that. My time shrinks quite a bit. The morning times, I still have some morning time, but the after work time for the most part during the holidays, it's usually holiday stuff.
Right.
How about you, Amy?
So last year is the only year out of all the years I've participated that I actually won. And it was right off the back of the 3-day novel in September, where for me, I did 27,000 words in 3 days. So when NaNo came along, I was like, wait, I got a whole month to do 50? No problem. And it wasn't a problem last year because it had already become part of my schedule. I was actively involved in the Stop Writing Alone group. So last year was very different for me. But then December came and it was like, okay, NaNo's over. Oh, I can stop writing. And I kind of feel like I've stayed there where one or something happens and something like it sounds like a lot of excuses. And if I were to really look at my calendar, I do have time to write. I have not right now made it a priority because of everything that's going on. And I'm taking a class. It's my last semester with a class that I'm taking.
Yeah.
It's a 15-week class. I have to finish it in roughly 2 weeks. And I haven't even started. So I have that going on right now. When that's over though, this is the last semester of it. So it's done unless I don't complete it. And then next year when they offer it again, I'll have to pay to take it again so I can finish it, which is not an option for me. So I have to get it done in the next 2 weeks.
Finish.
I gotta get it done. But for me, normally I would get up and Randy is a stay up late, get up late guy. I'm a go to bed early, get up early girl. So I'll get up 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock with the dogs, do my morning routine. And then I generally have an hour, hour and a half to write. So I could write in the morning and I can do roughly 1,200 words an hour if I'm just writing. Now, if I'm also planning out stuff and rereading and trying to do editing at the same time, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But if I'm just letting my fingers go, I can do about 1,200 words. And so I could easily get 1,000, 1,500, even 2,000 words in a day if I just made it a priority, it's actually one of my 2022. I'm really excited to be planning out my Q1 in 2022 because I think even you're going to call me crazy. I haven't told anybody this, Audrea. You're the first one I'm telling.
Uh-oh. Everybody on YouTube.
Right. Everybody who watches and likes and subscribes. I am going to attempt Millwordy next year.
Oh, and what is Millwordy, Amy?
It's 1 million words in a year. So I know it's if you look at it, NaNoWriMo is 50,000 words in a month. So if you did 50,000 words every month, it's roughly 600,000 words a year. Okay.
Okay.
And NaNoWriMo is less than 1,700 words a day.
Yes.
So if you just add a little bit to that, you've got 1 million in a year. It's not a whole lot more. And if I can concentrate an hour in the morning and an hour at night, and I'm averaging 1,200, 2,400 words a day, which I haven't done. Do you want to do the math? What's 2,400 times 365?
What is it, Amy?
I'm asking, what is it? Do
Oh,
math.
do you want me to do math? Oh, okay.
So nobody knows this, but my phone is now, even while we were talking, Audrea, it started updating again. I have updated to the new whatever it is 3 times. This morning, it started randomly updating. And then while we're talking, it is updating again. And it's the exact same update. Okay. So I can't use my phone to do the math. So what is 2,400 times 365?
Okay, I thought you were prompting me. Like, okay,
No, I was not planning on telling you this morning, so I did not have my numbers ready.
all right. That's 876,000 words.
See, that's so close. That's so close. Just 2 hours of writing every day. So I think I'm gonna.
When you say it like that, that makes it reasonable. And I think that's something that people can take away, is that what's reasonable for you and coming up with what's reasonable. I also like having a goal and having a lofty goal. Although there's also a concept that I was learning about in the Clubhouse author conference that I am on sometimes, and it's Flexi Goals, so that your goals are not completely rigid. You have like the bare minimum that I want to do, and this would be great if I make that. And so if you hit somewhere in there, then you've hit your goal, which is a great way to do it. But you know how many words, and that's an important thing about making goals and setting goals, is you know how many words per day, or I'm sorry, per hour you can write if you're just writing.
Right.
And so you can take that and you can do the math and come up with a goal that's for you would be reasonable. 2 hours a day of writing sounds reasonable. It sounds reasonable even to me. But however, this past year of me not getting nearly as many words in a day as I had planned to do because of stress and work schedule and other things around, personal life. And also I was rewriting, and you don't do as much words. I didn't realize you don't get as many words in it when you're rewriting. And then when you've got your rewriting hat on, your brain is just constantly trying to fix things. And it's not creative as just all that flow, that outpouring, that drafting. But so, I mean, that's a great way to do it, is to come up with what you can do, know your limits, know your rate of return, basically. And then I can forget what the word is, but do the math out across a year to figure out how that could work for you.
Yeah. And I was going to attempt this, I believe it was last year, because I was like, I just got 50,000 words in November. I'm not wasting them. By January, I realized I was just going to be so far behind because I hardly got any words in December. Mm-hmm. But another thing that, and I think this is like a life lesson. You can't wait until you're ready to do anything, because something is always going to come up. So you have to figure out how to make it work around the things. Yeah. And I think for me, I want to write and do voice acting full time. Mm-hmm. That's what I've always wanted to do. And the only way I'm going to do that is if I just do it. Mm-hmm. And know that there's going to be things that happen that I'm just going to have to work around it. If I had a full-time job and we were rehabbing the house, I would go to work every day, 9 to 5. But actually it was 8:30 to 5 were my hours. I'd go to work. Mm-hmm. I'd come home, added an hour for commute, eat dinner, say hi to Randy, and then I would have to rehab the house for 2 or 3. Why do I not make the same priority with writing?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I just need to, I am going to make it work, because we need me to make it work, so that as soon as I can have matching and over the income that Randy has coming in, mm-hmm. then he can start doing what he wants to do, which is right. So it's kind of like, it's one is dependent on the other is dependent on the other.
Yeah.
And I think my domino needs to fall first for everything else to line up. So I have to make it a priority. And you're my accountability partner. I can't ever say that word right.
Easy for me. That's right.
And we discuss our goals and what we did, what we didn't do, how we're going to make it better every week. So who better to be the first person to tell that I'm going to be attempting Millworthy. And Tammy Brightweiser was going to do it with me last year. So I'm going to let her know that I'm attempting it again and see if she wants to do it with me. I am the least techie person you will ever meet in your entire life. I can't do anything.
Okay.
No. I used to actually, before I met Randy, I didn't even want to like mess with a computer because I was scared I was going to hit a button and break it. Like, like, wait, is this the button I'm supposed to, that one right there? Are you sure? Are you sure that's the button? Like, that was what it was. I made for myself an Excel spreadsheet for Millwordy last year. Someone did a really good YouTube video and I found it and I was like, okay, so what do I do? Okay. And I literally made it for the year. So now I'm just going to go back, change my dates in it and have it set up for January. And it automatically counts my words and tells me how many more I have and all that good stuff.
That's cool.
So yeah, so but that's how I'm going to make sure. And then when I get to Nano, I'm already going to be doing 2,400, 3,000 words a day, assuming I keep up with it, that I'll have Nano done in, you know, half the month.
That would be cool.
Done.
That would be cool. So you have a plan. And so do you have a plan for what you're going to write?
My first goal is to finish my sci-fi that I have going and my middle grade fantasy. My goal is to finish those two because I think those two are retaining the most space in my head.
Yes. Yeah.
And yeah, so I need to get those out. The sci-fi fantasy, the sci-fi, it's an adult sci-fi. I think it will be one and done. I don't think there's any, it could be more and it will just depend on readers. If they love it and they want more, then I'll do more. Cool. The middle grade one, I want it to be a series, kind of like the Lemony Snicket.
Those are so cute. Yeah.
Right. So I want it to be kind of a series following this one boy and his best friend. So so if anybody wanted to know, it's a best friend and his best friend is a girl. So it's not just about boys. So
boys.
So anyway, so yeah, so those are the first two projects I have to get out of my head. The first one will be roughly, I'm guessing 150,000 words when I'm done. And that's the sci-fi, the epic. And then the other one will be what it is. I don't know. I'll look up all the right numbers it has to be for middle grade, blah, 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 blah. But
yeah, your comps. Right.
Yeah. So what is your first project now that Nano is over?
Well, my first project is the same project that I've been working on for over a year. The project that I've put other projects aside for, and that's the revision of the book. So I am close to finishing that up so that it can go back to the editor. And then I'm looking forward to, because this is supposed to be a series. So this is book one. I have a prequel that I have to work on. I'm going to go in and work on the prequel and get that off to the editor and then start on book two so that I have a prequel, book one, book two, and then started outlining book three. So those are my plans. So that's a great, it's a great thing to come out of NaNoWriMo. And that is, what are you going to do with the writing that you got? A lot of people are taking the writing that they did in NaNoWriMo. And if it's, then they say to put it away. After you've written it, then put it away. And then you go back and you read it and cringe, which is what I did the first couple times I did NaNoWriMo. It's like, what is this garbage that I wrote? You know,
is that even a word?
Yeah, it makes no sense. But it's 50,000 words that you're spewing out in a month. So right after NaNoWriMo, it's good to put that stuff away and then bring it back and edit, revise it for yourself so that it makes sense, that it flows, and then get an editor. A lot of people come out of NaNoWriMo and they go, well, I've got a book now, I'll just send it off to get it published, and it doesn't work like that.
It shouldn't work like that. I've seen people do that, but yeah, should not
don't
work
do
like
that. Don't do that. Yeah, or some people come out of NaNoWriMo with a really good start to a novel, like a zero draft that they now want to really dig into and make it into a good first draft, second draft, etc. So don't just stop writing. I think you had some good points about finding the writing time around your day and around your schedule and continuing with that. Maybe not giving up all of your your marriage and your care for the kids for the month that you do in NaNoWriMo, but keeping to a schedule or building a schedule and a habit of writing that you can build on for the rest of the year, so you're ready for the next NaNoWriMo.
Right.
Or Millwordy, something like that.
Millwordy. There's a whole community. So I'm already part of it. I just have to jump back in. And some of the connections that I made, the friends I made while we were at 20 Books, they've started doing their own writing goals. And so I'll be sure to share with them the Millwordy and how that's going, because they'll like, when you have people that that know your goal, they have a tendency to not let you slack off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good. Anything else you wanted to discuss?
For NaNoWriMo Aftermath? Nope, nothing else for me.
Cool beans. All righty. We will see you guys later.